Hi, Sheikh Asim. I thought I'd start out by talking a little bit about myself and a little bit about who I am. I'm an American college professor. I work at The Ohio State University. I'm not, however, a college professor of religion. I don't really know a whole lot about religion and have no formal training at all. I'm a professor in the College of Social Work, so I'm interested in things like how do people help other people. And similarly, my religious background is not Muslim. My religious background is Christianity and Buddhism. So to the extent that I know anything about Sufi practice at all, I know it the way a lot of Americans do. I've read some of the poetry. To the extent that I know anything about Islam at all, I know the way any amateur person with an interest in religion would know a little bit about it. So I'm very interested in the conversation that we're planning to have because I think I'll learn a lot. I thought I'd start out with really three questions. Two of them are very broad. The first question is, who exactly are the Sufis? Where do they come from? What would be a little bit of historic background? And the second question is, how does Sufi practice fit into the broader realm of Islamic practice? And the third question is, where does all that wonderful poetry come from? Why is there such a remarkable tradition of Sufi poetry?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear Brother Keith, thank you very much for initiating this dialogue between East or West, and or if you would like to say, a conversation between the two seekers of spirituality, one sitting somewhere in United States and the other humble dervish here in Pakistan. It is very interesting, and as you mentioned that your question regarding who exactly the Sufis are is a very broad question, and especially when it comes from a seeker who comes from the West, who is a beginner and whose all knowledge about this spiritual dimension of Islam is primarily based on the information provided by the Orientalists. And this interest of studying the religions of the East and the cultures of the East grew out of the situation of the conquest of the world and the expansion of the colonialism. The colonial empires needed to know something about the religions of the East, or the religions or the traditions of the natives, in order to rule more effectively. So during the past 2 centuries, they sent the different specialists of the language to these Eastern countries to know more about their culture and their values. What I call this as an outsider's approach. So most of the time when we talk about Sufism or Sufis at large in West, the image that comes to the general mind of someone is probably an intoxicated lover who has shunned the world of the material to him, and who is not following any form of any specific religion, and who is probably out, so sometimes appears to be as out of his senses, or a sort of contentment which reflects from that image is somehow seems to be very open, without any limits or restrictions of any form whatsoever. This image which comes to this modern mind in the West is due to the works of these Orientalists, of which I mentioned as the outsiders, those specialists like Sir John William and John Macaulay of the East India Company, and some other big names who were really very good academics. And since they did not know, and since they were visiting, so with each mosque and the minaret they saw some wandering dervishes, and oftenly they found them as the poets, or as someone who is singing and rilling and dancing in a sort of a spiritual ecstasy, and especially singing the songs about the wine. Probably not any Muslim would talk about drinking the wine. So these Orientalists noticed those words, that if they are using the wine, probably they do not have anything to do with the religion of Islam itself. But as they were the outsiders, as they didn't know what that real essence is, they didn't know what that wine meant, and to whom that dervish was addressing, and in what context he was addressing these. So these are all the pseudo, or probably those informations which has now stuck into the mind of the West. In reality, all these vagabond dervishes had little to do with the Sufism at itself. And this Sufism itself, this term came into the English language in 18th century, when these European Orientalists, those who were fond of these Eastern culture, they invented this term Sufism. Otherwise there is no ism in Islam itself. They thought that probably Sufism is another sect in Islam. So let me tell you that this is not a sect in Islam. The sect in Islam are based on the different interpretations of the Islamic jurisprudence. And the Islamic jurisprudence, like any other form of the law or religious or the secular, is focused on the physical existence of the human being and its interaction with the other human beings and its interaction with the society or with the environment. While this Sufism, let's say for the sake of just term, it is about the spirit. It is about that inner dimension and not the outward dimension. So it is not the sect. It is not the sect at all. It is the inner dimension of Islam. It is the spiritual dimension of Islam, and that is why we say that Sufism is the heart of Islam, and it is the path of the heart. So here, for you to make a difference while studying the Sufism or learning about the Sufism, is that you have to unlearn most of what you have learned through these Orientalists. you have to clean that part of the information so that easily you can grab the new information, which is not an outsider's approach, which is probably speaking for itself. So the word of Sufism, or the word of Sufi itself, is a very mystic word. And why I say mystic, because there is a difference of opinion on its root word. Some people say that the root word of Sufi is Saf, which is an Arabic word and meaning woolen clothes, which the early Sufis used to wear in the desert. So the one meaning is the root word is Saf. The other group of the people, they say that this is from the Greek word of Siyuf, or the philosoph, the men of intellect, the men of wisdom, and well, they are right to say, they have their right to say, because the Sufis are the men of intellect. And this, there are some other people who say that this is from the word Safa, and Safa was a platform in the first mosque in Medina, where the companions of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to live, and they were dependent on for their survival on the other Muslims, and they kept themselves busy in remembering and praising the Lord all the time. And then there are some other people who find its roots from the word Saf, which means the row, the first row on the day of the judgment in the court of the Lord. So they are also right. And then there are some people who take this word from Safa, and Safa means purification. So these are the men of purification. These are the purified self. So whatever the root word of Sufism might be, to me it always meant to have all these mentioned qualities in a Sufi. They were detached from the material, they were detached from the worldly possessions, and so they were wearing the woolen clothes. They were the men of the intellect, they were the sages, they were the men of the wisdom who were getting all the light from their spirit towards their intellect, and they were guiding the people. They were the people of the foresight, and they were the people of purification, and they were the people who spend their lives partially in seclusion also. And why it was so? Who is a Sufi? Sufi is somebody to whom, we have different groups of people in the human beings. There are some people who go for the words. Then there are some people who embark on the journey to find the meaning behind the word. And then there are those who are looking for the meaning behind the meaning. And then there are those who are looking for the reality. Or then there are those who are searching for the truth. So we have different groups of people. So Sufis are from that group of people to whom their creator, that one creator who has created all what we see and of all what we do not see, not remains as an object of worship, but becomes their beloved. So you can say that this is the pursuit of beloved. This is the journey of love. And that is why it is said that it is the path of the heart. Because whenever you say or whenever you talk about love, it implies towards the heart. And the heart here is the metaphor of the essence of the human existence, or the focal point of the human existence. So as I was saying, that Sufis are the lovers who are in love with the beloved. And here we say that, contrary to the modern way of thinking, when people say that, oh, I fell in love with somebody, the Sufis take it as rising in love with the beloved. So these are the people who rise with the love, and who rise with love in such a fashion that before going to the presence of the beloved, they clean themselves, they clean their thoughts, they clean and purify the mirror of the heart, so that the reflections of the beauty or the glance of the beloved reflect from that mirror, and those reflections, they lights up the whole of the universe. So when they light up the whole of the universe, it means that the same lover is entering into another conscious level. So this is the journey of a lover of the beloved. This is the journey, this is the story, and this is the tale of love, of creation towards his creator, in a fashion and in a manner that he purifies all aspects of his life in every sense of the word, not only cleansing itself but also being aware of itself. So it is as there is a hadith, and all the sources, the sacred sources of Sufism, are based on Quran and hadith. So as one hadith says, فَقَدْ أَرْفَ نَفْسَهُ فَقَدْ أَرْفَ رَبَّهُ, that know thyself to know thy Lord. So this journey of seeking closeness towards the Lord, or the Creator, or the one reality, or seeing that unity behind this apparent multiplicity, requires a higher conscious level. So this is the journey of a conscious also. So unlike the other traditions of spirituality, where people go into a longer periods of seclusion or shun the material possessions or the worldly pursuit at all, Sufis are different. Sufis are different because since it is their beloved, so everything which is created by beloved is lovable and respectable. So the Sufis are in love with the creation. They are in love with the human being. So the second part of the fundamental statement, which mentions that Prophet Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the Prophet of God, is exactly what the living Sufism is: a life full of all the aspects of the Islam, all that is best and the noblest in terms of sentiments and in terms of behavior, the life and the example of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the state of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in which he lived during his earthly life over here, is the highest standard for all the Sufis in every sense of the word, in every respect. and in all times and in all places. So to understand who the Sufis really are, it is necessary to understand the life and the way the Prophet led his earthly stay here on this planet Earth. So to study Sufism means to study the life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Thank you.